I have a question, a Hollywood Wayz question. What are your thoughts, bre-z, Doug, on an influencer, his place in a movie or a TV show? Doug, would you cast somebody if you got two people, you like them both the same, and one of them is an influencer? Does the influencer really carry any weight in terms of getting people to watch? Now, I'm talking about TV shows and movies.
Well, we're talking about two different things. I would never cast anybody that I didn't think was perfect for the role unless I was forced to by the studio. What I can tell you is every project I deal with, I listen to this nonsense. How many followers they have? What is this? What is that? And it's miserably frustrating, but
they're measuring a lot by that now.
They are, and it's not that much different, though. It used to be, the Q rating, whatever they called it. Every actor in Hollywood had a rating, and they would talk about that. Now, obviously, it's a little more prominent, but the truth is, what always has to be remembered, as sad as it is, this is a business, and while you want to be an artist and you want to, do what really feels right to you, you have to make money or you don't work and they don't work and people get fired. So, I get both sides of it, but me personally would never go, oh my God, that person has so many followers, I'm going to cast them over someone that I like better who has nothing, which, by the way, it's like Kevin Dillon who has never, and Kevin Connolly who've never really engaged in that whole social media thing. I've said to them, because I think they're both super, super talented actors, I said, I think it would help you guys if you did that. Now, I don't know what you think at this stage of your game, and obviously your social media, you're at the right time to be on a hot show, because the world is looking at you and it helps keep feeding it. And I will be very interested to see how these huge influencers with millions and millions of followers, it's hard to lose all those people, I would think.
This isn't a knock on influencers, but when you look at bre-z, who's acting, does music, how do you feel about somebody that's just an influencer as opposed to somebody like yourself that has multiple skill sets? Do you... Honestly, I want to say it's a respect thing. Do you respect them? But how do you feel about somebody? How do you feel about influencers? Like straight up influencers, period, end of story.
I mean, an influencer in my mind could be, the popular kid in school. Whatever that kid does, everybody wants to do it. You know what I mean? Or everybody's looking to see what that kid's going to do. I don't think, I'm not going to say I don't want to discredit anyone, but I don't want to say there's a specific talent in that.
Yeah.
But somehow you've made yourself visible. You appear to be cool to whatever your audience is, but honestly, with me and what I do everything organically. Everything's organic. So I can't keep up with an act. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, honestly, I'm going to, side with Doug, where if this is the person for the job, then cool. If not, then your followers mean, I know people with millions, and I wouldn't hang with you if they paid me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean nothing. And I'm not, I know people as well who are, like one of my good friends, Jonathan Majors, who just was in Lovecraft Country and Last Black Man in San Francisco, all this stuff, like huge, young guy. Not a piece of social media.
Right. Well, look.
But is when you look at Variety and you look at all these, the powers that be, it's like, this is the next thing.
Well, the thing is, there's rarefied talent that can get away with anything. Philip Seymour Hoffman would never do interviews, and nobody knew really much about him personally. Mm-hmm. But for the most people, and again, I'm not talking about putting on acts, I'm not putting on that. Because sometimes I look at Mark Wahlberg's career. There was a time when he was an underwear model on Guess Jean commercials, and people were like, oh, what the fuck? How is this guy in movies? Then all of a sudden, he's considered one of the best actors in the world. Right. So you, I think, are a similar thing. You're not trained. You have a natural gift at this thing, and you're also hardworking. You're also whatever. But so I think I don't have an anti-feeling about people who are into social media. Mm-hmm. What I have is I want people's talents to rise, and I want the best person for whatever that job may be to be that person. And whether it's some influencer who sits around doing silly sketches or is in bikinis, I don't care if they're the right person.
It's hard to knock Jake Paul, right? How can you knock the guy who makes $25 million a year, right? But do you want him in your movie? No, right?
Yeah, but I really can't knock him because he's a businessman and he's doing it brilliantly. I mean, like, Dave Portnoy from Barstool, like, I mean, he stole my whole gig to like review pizzas. I mean, like, and I know more about pizza than
really
Dave Portnoy.
Stole that from you.
I'm not saying, but I was too stupid to figure out how to make that a thing. And this guy's turned it into $1 billion industry to go drive around and eat. I do that for free. I eat fucking pizza and I just get fat. I get nothing out of it. You know what I mean? So I look at those guys and go, they're marketing geniuses in the same way that Floyd Mayweather was. Of course, he had a better skill than Jake Paul had in the boxing ring, but if you told me I could figure out how to get on the internet and I can go play point guard for the Knicks, and even if I sucked, someone would help me out, hold me up, and whatever, of course I would do it, you know? So
I think the influencer thing has definitely become its own world.
Yeah.
You can't even put it in any other category than what it is.
Yeah.
And I think, it's going to take the right person to actually, really find a house for that. Because I'm sure there is. There's something for it. It may not be on screen or whatever, but
they may be. What's her name?
I saw the billboard. Addison Rae.
Addison Rae is starring in movies.
In some Netflix movie, and now she's going to sink or swim on her talent. And it's not going to be her followers that gets her the next job. If she's good in that movie and people like it, she'll get the next job. But it will have been her social media following that got her there.
Addison Rae is a huge influencer who now is getting studio movies and leads of movies over like actors. And again, she might be amazing. I won't even knock it, because I do think if you can get millions of people to look at you every day, there's something about you that is making people do that. I can't get millions of people to look at me, so.
Yeah, you have a hard time with that. It just is funny how, even 10 years ago, if we would have thought that the social media influencer conversation would be as real and as powerful as it is, I would have just said you're wrong. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I remember sitting at a dinner table with you, with all the guys from Entourage. Jerry Ferrara was the one who took my phone and said, you need to get on Instagram. And I was like,
I was at Dantana's.
I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? I would
really
never
created a monster that day. Boy.
Well, you know what though?
Shit.
The truth is, and bre-z, hopefully people will join us. We have a hit podcast, and the only way we can get it out there is Instagram. That's it.
But you know what? It's weird because even me, who I don't have all of the experience in the acting world, but I have had success thus far. But I have come across situations where they don't even care about what I've done. They want to know what my numbers are on socials, and it's like if it's not I'm only at 1 point. I'm probably at like 4 million collectively, but they're like, if it's not in the 20s and it's like they'll pass.
Well, that's the thing that...
And I'm like...
Doug is so jealous of your social media. Look, he lit up like a Christmas tree when you said...
No, what I really thought about, because what you kind of missed in the last decade, what used to be... The writer used to be the king in television. Mm-hmm. That was like, if you were a great writer, you were going to create a show and they were going to trust you. Now, Entourage, I was not considered anything then. I was lucky and all of that happened. But HBO at the time, it was like, go cast this... And not that Kevin or Jeremy were unknowns, but you don't need a giant star. Now television is almost movies 10 years ago. Like they're going to give Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon $1 million an episode to start a new TV show when 20 years ago it took 12 years for the Friends to get $1 million an episode when it's the biggest sitcom in the history of television.
Wow, yeah.
So it's just different. And now when I write scripts, which it never used to be. It used to be about the scripts. I give it a TV script, and it's like, oh, maybe we can get Mark Wahlberg. Maybe we can get Leo. I'm like, I don't even want that because as great as those guys are, I still dream of like, I loved Entourage when it first started. People thought the show was a documentary because they didn't really recognize these guys. I know you were in a lot of stuff.
I don't care.
But I mean, like people used to be like, is this a documentary? And I love that because that's what we were attempting to do, make it feel as real as possible. Mm-hmm. And even the greatest actors, sometimes they overshadow the actual project. You're like, okay, there's Daniel Day-Lewis, there's whoever, Taye Diggs, there's this one, there's that one. So I long for the old days where the writer was king in television, Kevin,
Yeah, I miss the content. Like, I think I fell in love with Entourage immediately because, again, like you said, it felt real. Like, it was just like it was a real thing. and I'm looking at Turtle. It's like, I love him, by the way.
He's
you know
awesome,
what I'm saying?
Jerry.
I'm just like, yo, like, where is this at?
Yeah.
But this is the type of things I want to see. So ultimately, it's the type of shit I want to create.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
Because nowadays, shit is cheesy.
I know. I mean, there's still some good. There's some good stuff out there, but I mean, I was so, that show was so kind of me and the way I grew up, which is similar to Kevin Connolly and Kevin Dillon. We kind of, even though we don't know each other from childhood, we basically grew up in the same places. And I really wanted to make it as authentic to that as possible, which is actually another interesting question now, because they would never make that show right now. They would say, and I remember.
Why not?
The conversation with then was even, by the way, like, where's the black guy? Where's the Latino guy? And what I said at the time, I go, listen, I'm writing exactly how I grew up, which
Doug,
was.
I told you to do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, maybe.
Write it how I grew up.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting. How you grew up would be different,
I'm
but
telling you, the conversation would be a lot different now.
yeah. Well, I would like to see a show from how you grew up, but I'm probably not the guy to write that one, you know? But when
You're
you want to
definitely
be
not the guy for that.
when
one.
you want to be authentic, though, you want to write what you know and you want to write what you feel and you don't want to create stuff. And one of the things, which is, I think, going to be interesting conversations on this show, they used to say, where are the black agents? And I would say,
Yeah.
go walk through CAA and go walk through WME and you show me the black agents, because I'm writing.
I haven't seen a lot, honestly.
So and now that's why I'm saying 2004 they were saying that. And I said, I'm just reflecting what the world is. 2021, there's definitely, obviously, this mission to be more inclusive. Are you feeling that? Do you feel, I don't know, do you feel a difference in the world from 10 years ago? Are you feeling that any of this movement is getting anywhere, or what's your thoughts on that?
No, I feel like these people are making a way for themselves. You're not making it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The blacks and the Latinos and, you know, whoever wasn't involved, who's now involved, like, these people have done it on their own, and it's all because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they've brought the attention to themselves. They've built up this shit themselves. These people haven't done that, and I hear the talk about the inclusiveness and all that. I don't see it. It's just talk.
Well, I think it's interesting now that the time is you can create yourself, you can make a name for yourself, and there's nobody to stand in the way
it's
for
there.
it.
In sports, it's inclusive. I don't know if there was ever a problem there, but like in
course,
Hollywood,
coaches, owners,
yeah.
you know,
in Hollywood, like, you know, let's just stick to TV and film. No,
yeah.
you don't see that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I can tell you what's interesting for me to even look back at, because I've honestly, all of this stuff has really fascinated to me. I didn't know, I mean, it's embarrassing. I'm a history major in college.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about the Tulsa Massacre until I saw it on Watchmen. Till I saw Watchmen on
Regina
HBO.
King.
Yeah. I didn't know about this. And then I watched Summer of Soul, which, did you see this? It's absolutely phenomenal. But Stevie Wonder playing the drums, and this is Harlem at the
Stevie.
same time as Woodstock is going on. There's 100,000 people in Harlem watching just as good musicians, and nobody's ever talked about it. And Questlove made this documentary that's phenomenal. And, you know, so I do think a lot of stuff that's happening now is for the better and for good.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But it's wild to me, because you really do learn that there are small numbers of people, and I don't go into this white privilege thing. We all had our own experiences. We've all had there's very poor white people and very poor Jewish people,
Right.
but we know as a group, obviously they've had it better than others have had it. But I think the fact that people are so aware of it, and the fact that you can get on your social media and you can claim what you want and
Yeah.
say what you want, I think is a good thing. So.
Yeah. Well, the first step was just people feeling like they have a voice, and
Yeah.
social media definitely did that.
Right.
Definitely.
Welcome back, Hollywood Wayz. We're back from a break. So weird. I walk outside. We're talking about social media, and all of a sudden, these fucking kids are being followed like they're the Beatles. Cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
People are yelling at cars of them. So I said, why don't you guys come on this podcast? So we've got Oliver and Sebastian from
It's a pleasure.
North Star Boys.
The NSB.
Yeah. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doug.
And
Thank you,
you know,
bre-z.
we want to talk about all the stuff that you're doing, but we were just talking about transitions from becoming these influencers, which the two of you alone have, what, 20, 30 million followers?
Yes, sir. Close to 30 million.
And then the group, the North Star Boys, which, can you tell me a little bit about them and how many followers you guys got?
I'll take this one. North Star Boys, first ever Asian American content group. There has never been any. And And then Oliver and I had an idea. We're like, this is crazy. It could be a really big thing. And we just started about a month ago. It's been absolutely huge. Almost 4 million followers in a month. TikTok, almost 200,000. Instagram, YouTube's killing it.
Wow.
All right,
Does these followers, like, does this equate to money? Like, this is...
Of course.
This is, wow.
Let's explain this to me.
course.
Okay, but the North Star Boys have been around doing TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Correct? And explain to me or the audience, what kind of videos? Are they dance videos, comedy, what?
Yeah, so Sebastian and I, we've been doing social media for close to 4 years now. I'm 20 years old. My brother Sebastian, he's 18. So we started fairly young, but that's our world. That's what we're used to. And Sebastian woke up one day. This was last year, and he came to me. He was like, "Yo, Oliver, I had a dream last night." And then he explained to me that we started this Asian American content group with Asian American boys like us, and then we kind of just trained them and build them up and guide them to the direction of what is social media and how to become big in social media, whether it's a small time or it takes those years to do it. We just love doing this. And bringing on 5 other boys as well that have the same interests as us just makes things so much more entertaining and so much more fun. So we just decided to get going with research, and one thing led to another, and now we're here a year later, and we're starting strong.
And so school is done, finished. This
Graduated
is
high school, yeah.
career plan. And again, what were the TikTok videos that made you guys pop?
So we post videos and pictures surrounded about our lives. Our fans and an audience is really interested in us traveling the world, meeting people like you guys, doing stuff like this. They think it's very interesting. So our content ranges anywhere from comedy to cute stuff and fun stuff. It could be cooking. It could be all sorts of crazy stuff. Music. We've gotten to music and we're continuing music. I've done some acting. I've done shows.
Yeah, on social media, a lot of people follow someone for a specific reason, whether it's comedy or whether it's acting or music. I think for us, we do everything for our stars. So that's what we call our fans, for North Star Boys. And I believe that they follow us because of our personality, really.
Yeah.
I think that's what carries us and the interaction between Sebastian and I, the interaction between us and the other members of North Star Boys. I think that is what's interesting to them.
Right. And what I've talked about a little bit on before you guys came on was people don't get that if you can draw this attention, obviously you have something. And then the question is, what are you going to do with it? So this content thing, 2 questions I have about it. The Asian American thing, obviously you want to do it because you want to help out this underserved community,
Right.
And change some perceptions, I would guess.
Right, 100%. Go ahead.
No, go.
Our mission statement is to inspire other Asian Americans because, us growing up, we really didn't have too many other Asians to look up to here in America. So that's what we inspire to be.
Why is that? Is there no entertainment culture or anything within the Asian American community? Or?
So there obviously there has been, but there just hasn't been a group specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And we've looked up to other Asian creators like Ryan Higa, but that was like 10 years ago.
So nobody really your age,
Right, no
with
modern,
you guys
yes.
type lifestyle. Got
Right.
it. Yeah.
So we're filling in a gap right now.
And I know you guys are young, but because what I've talked about a little bit was, a Mark Wahlberg who started out, in the music business, did some modeling, and then, becomes a movie star. And a lot of people don't take social media people seriously. But you guys, which I love, are young, focused, and working all the time. So what's the ultimate, what do you really want to be doing 10 years from now? What's the plan?
Well, let me ask you this. What makes a entertainment person successful? Is it the fans? Is it the brand deals? Is it the Met Galas? Is it the Oscar awards? Like, social media is surrounded by all of those things. Addison Rae just went to what is that? The huge event the other day. I forgot what it's called, but we can do tours just through social media where tens of thousands of fans will attend each show.
To do what, though? So what would you do on these tours?
Meet and greets, do fun stuff on stage, perform some songs if that's
so you guys
direction.
sing.
We specifically sing, and there is I think 1 or 2 other members in the group that also sing. but that's not really necessarily what you need to do, you know? If you have a passion for it and an interest for it, then you can go that route. You can go an acting route, you know? There's a lot of things that surround a social media influencer.
That's just one of the things you guys do.
For sure. Like all my life, I've been very passionate about music. You know, I love to write. I like to play instruments, and even like the back end on music, like producing and vocal engineering. I got into that very heavily last year. But since we've been focusing on this project, it's also now my passion to, like Sebastian said, to focus on inspiring Asian American creators out there. Also, those who want to be a creator as well. Because I feel like once these Asian Americans step onto these platforms more, then other Asian Americans could be like, yo, I could do that as well.
It's awesome. I mean, it's great that you're young and you're not just focused on yourself and you're thinking about how can I help community and all that. It's great. So do either of you want to act? Is that an ultimate goal?
Yeah, I would love to be in a Netflix show.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. Why just Netflix though?
Any show really.
Yeah.
It's just I watch a lot of Netflix on my free time before falling asleep.
Netflix is just super popular. I mean, it's definitely dominating right now.
But hey, Hulu, if you're watching this, my name's
Well, bre-z's got one of the most. It's not a Netflix show, but they air her show, and it's one of the most successful shows they have on Netflix right now. So
our show's been trending for a while.
yeah, and I'm embarrassed, bre-z, because they have not seen it or Entourage yet, and the reason is because they're working so much. I mean,
Understood.
I do is watch fucking TV right now.
No, I watched the Entourage movie.
Nice. Well,
Yeah, that was really good.
thank you. I appreciate it. But I mean, my point was that you guys at 20, which I think is amazing, when people discount what you're doing, you guys are like, I'm working. I am getting it done so that the future can be great for us. And I love that.
So what was the grind like to building your following? For the listeners who don't know how to get this. There's people in this world like Doug who does not know how social media works.
I can't get any
I'm going to be straight up with you guys, okay? 100% honest. I had less than 2 hours of sleep last night. Like, I'm being for real. Like, we're a freight train. We are going crazy right now.
But to answer your question on how this all started, no one helped Sebastian and I, you know, in the beginning. We just wanted it more than anyone we knew. When our first 2 years of starting social media, we've been on it for almost 4 years. Okay. Our first 2 years on social media, we went live about 8 hours each a day. So that's 16 hours in a day. Live
just
streaming.
8 hours, straight?
No, I'll get into the scheduling in just one moment. But
Okay.
yeah, no, but like that's 16 hours with the two of us live streaming. Live streaming is a great way to interact with fans, and like your question is, that's how you build a fandom. That's how you build a fan base, and as an influencer, that's what you want, you know.
So, but you start out with obviously nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
You start doing these live streams, which first of all, what are your parents saying while you're on live streaming for 8 hours a day?
Oh man, they just, I'm sure I can speak for other creators as well. They just don't understand. It's
Right.
so new. They're like, what we're doing it's the first of its kind. I mean, social media itself is just
Definitely.
a little bit over a decade old. But as soon as I see a little bit of cash come through, then as soon as that happens, everyone understands somehow.
But like bre-z, who did this, learned music herself and started making music, most people, whether it's because you're good looking, whether it's because you're funny, most people aren't going to get that attention.
Right.
So their parents are yelling. It's like an athlete, like like me. I wanted to be an athlete. It wasn't going to fucking make me any money, but you know, it's. You get through that stage, but what made people start spreading what you were doing? Like, what was your first viral thing that happened?
Actually, so our first year on social media was very just like slow growth, okay? And then we started off on Musical.ly. I don't know if you guys know what Musical.ly is.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
back then. It was right
don't.
before TikTok. Musical.ly turned into TikTok, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And then when Musical.ly transformed into TikTok, that's when everything started rapidly pacing up, you know?
Yeah.
Our first viral kind of style of videos was, we call them perspective videos. For an example, you have a phone that is right here in front of you, and you put an object in front of the phone, and then you step away from it, pretty far away. With the right angle, it will look like the object that's in front of the phone is ginormous compared to you.
Right.
So that's what we were like playing around with, and that was like our first viral type of content. I remember it hit like 1 million likes in 2 hours. And I was like
Can
averaging.
I borrow
like,
that? Or
Are you like using hashtags with this stuff, or
Yeah, I mean, there's
are
many.
hashtags important?
No.
In your
Not
opinion?
really.
No, okay.
Not really. But yeah, everyone has different niches. Social media is like Earth itself, you know. But on online space, like there's everything on social media, and you can become someone. You could be something big in any niche you do. You know, you just have to make yourself interesting. make what you do interesting. Make people want to watch you. It's all about eyes. It's all about attention.
Yeah.
bre-z, I did not know you were into music, and you're also into acting as well, very heavily. I have a question: well, what do you think? What media career is the hardest to get into?
I don't know. I mean, the entertainment industry itself, it's pretty much all the same. And like he said, there has to be a particular liking for you in what you do. You know what I mean? Like, there's something apparently about the North Star Boys that sets you guys aside from everything else going on social media. You know, so I think it's the same for me. Like, I was something different. I was something that people hadn't really seen on screen like that. So it worked in my favor, in my opinion. But I also, once I got in it, I worked really hard, and I wanted it more for myself than anybody else probably wanted it for me. So,
But I think for me, who's a lot older, probably the same age as the three of you combined, but it is now, since you have this ability to get your talents out to people quickly, it's about grinding. And a lot of people don't understand that. And, we had Josh Richards on Victory, the podcast, is the other podcast that I do. And this kid's been starting businesses since he was 14, 15 years old. So like you guys, people don't appreciate the hustle like any other entrepreneurship. And now I know you guys basically you moved into this house that's kind of like some version of the Sway House, which bre-z.
What is it? Tell me what a Sway House is.
These guys will have to explain it better than me.
So, I mean, you guys are familiar with Jake Paul?
Of
course. So
is Sway a word, or is it like, does it mean something?
That's like their brand.
Oh, got it.
But I mean, it all started a couple years ago. Jake Paul got a couple different social media influencers all together to live in one house. It eventually fell apart, but then Hype House came along, Sway House came along. So, content houses became a really big thing.
So it's basically bringing a giant followings all together and helping each other kind of grow.
But unfortunately, content houses have a really bad name for itself right now. There's been a lot of things that went wrong with content houses, especially in the recent few years. So that's why we don't like to call ourselves a content house. We're more of a content group.
When you say things went wrong, tell me what you mean.
Well, a content house, you have a person funding the house, right? Because it's not cheap to live in a huge mansion in Los Angeles.
Right.
And then, you have a bunch of influencers, they come and go, and then it's really hard to build a fan base that way. It's really hard to have people stick around when the influencers, the people that are the audience is watching is just fluctuating in and out, So that's why we call ourselves a content group, because we're ride or dies, Like, we're in this together. We're either going to go to the bottom together or go to the top together,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of content houses don't make it past their first year even.
Yeah.
Because of the bond within the people inside the house.
It's like a rock band. I mean, it's
Right,
like
when you put a bunch of personalities together, something's bound to happen.
Right, we're a boy band without the music.
But most of the boy bands have had some type of problem at some point. So you have now brought in new people. So there's 7 of you. How long have 7 people been together in this content?
We started like a month and a half ago. Right. This is very fresh and new.
So we don't even know what's going to happen. Like when some girl shows up and everybody's in love with the same girl, there might be a problem.
How's it going though?
Oh, it's going fantastic. I mean, it's really hard. It's not easy, And I knew before Oliver and I started this project, I was like, this is going to be probably the hardest working times of our lives. But I did not know it was going to be this hard. Like, there's so much stuff that goes into it. It's very, very, very difficult. Although it is the most fun I've ever had. These guys are
so it's hard. Like, it's a lot of work going into the creation of the content.
Yes. No, we're filming 24/7. Like, I tell you, filming.
It's a job. I think that for people who are social media influencers, this is a round the clock job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So is there anything off limits for you guys? You'll just let the camera roll, or what? Do you edit? Do you go that cannot be out there? Or?
Yeah. I mean, of course, I mean, we try to stay as normal, like
family friendly.
Yeah, no, not necessarily family friendly, but just ourselves. We try to stay ourselves as much as possible. Although there's always stuff, that can't go into the internet,
Right. I mean, because essentially you guys are a brand. So I know when you say family friendly, it's like, you don't want to be an acquired taste. You want to be able to be in the homes of children, adults, teens, whatever. Yeah. Got it. There's no porn happening.
Well, I love the hustle.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the hustle. I hope you guys stick with this. I know, Brittany was on the Mickey Mouse Club, I think, back in the day. Now she's posting naked pictures on
Britney
Instagram
Spears?
every day. Yeah,
that's crazy.
She's grown now.
Yeah,
that's the
she's
thing.
grown.
You grow out of that space. So we'll see. I mean, they're young now, and everything's going good. We'll see when everyone gets married and who has a kid first. And
Yeah, but I think what's awesome for me is I love seeing people, and I did it when I was 21 years old. I came out here before social media and really grinded and hustled and created stuff to get it out there. And I think it's awesome what you're doing. So
Yeah, you were around before Yahoo.
I was around before television.
Wow. That is crazy.
No, this is dope. This is dope. I think
Yeah.
people can learn a lot from this.
Yeah, I
'cause
really
it's a-
appreciate you guys coming in, man. You know, I mean, I
Thank
think what you're doing is very cool, and I love that there's a social message behind it. You know, and not to be too hokey about it. We don't try to be political here, but
Yeah.
I think we all notice that Asian Americans, they've definitely been depicted in a certain way on
Right.
television and movies, and I don't think people
Well, on
appreciate.
Crazy Rich Asians, it was the best I've ever seen. I love, it's one of my favorite movies.
Love that movie.
Love
So
it.
you guys were happy.
I want to
with
get
that?
married in Singapore,
On a boat.
and I want Chris to walk in water.
We should
She
do
doesn't.
that.
If she doesn't walk in water, I might get married.
We should do that movie. We
Barefoot.
should talk about that movie.
We
and maybe
should.
we'll bring you guys in back to talk about it. But I appreciate it. I love the hustle, and I wish you the best of luck. And I want to catch up with you guys 2 years, 5 years from now, and
Hey, you'll see us.
what happens. Because
Yeah.
I think it's important that hopefully you can keep your focus. Not let any of the one. There's going to be one lunatic out of these 7. I don't care if you see it yet.
We're all
but
lunatics. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, social
crazy.
media is definitely running
Yeah.
things right now. So I mean, shoot, go ahead and let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah.
So you can see all this cool stuff you guys are doing.
Find us on any social media platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. North Star Boys is the group page. My name is Sebastian Moy. You can find me there if you search on my name, and Oliver Moy. Here, my brother as well.
Hey, thank you, Doug, and thank you, bre-z, for having us. This has been a lot
problem.
of fun.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Our
it.
followers are going up. The price changed today. North Star
Stock
Boys,
is up.
Hollywood Wayz. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Let's go.